Hey everyone, welcome back. This is part 3 of my gigantic, massive, enormous, ridiculous, huge, mammoth fragrance haul. Before we get into the fragrances, I wanted everyone to say hi to my special guest, my son, and you say hi to all of my friends.
Hi, YouTube.
He wanted to share that he just started his own YouTube channel, and it is called
Little Kid Rants 1. I made that channel because I thought that I could just rant about stuff, and it's fun.
so it's called Little Kids or Little Kid?
Little Kid.
Little Kid Rants 1. And the content is him ranting about cartoons. So it is kid appropriate. If you've got a kid at home who likes cartoons and who likes watching YouTube videos about cartoons, make sure that they go subscribe to his channel. I will link it down below. Thanks so much. I'll be right back. All right, so he is off to go create his own content and play video games and so forth. And we're going to get into fragrances part 3. So I have 11 fragrances that will round out my latest set of hauls to share with you. Let's jump right in. But before we do, did you get your glass of wine or your glass of beer or your cup of tea or your cup of coffee or your water? Something, because it's going to be another long one. First up is Passion Eau de Parfum by Armaf. So it comes in this bottle. I have already unboxed everything. This is maybe one of the strangest bottles I have seen. I'm not sure if I like it or if I think it's cheap and weird, but it's got this like spongy, fabric-y surround here with a ballerina on it. It is a weapon. This thing could double as a weapon in a time of crisis. So there's the atomizer. This it's a floral fragrance with some lemon, orange, bergamot. It has florals in it, green and earthy tones, jasmine, honeysuckle, peony, pear, and melon. You know I love a good pear note. I have tried these inside of the boxes and I'm going to spritz them here again just to remind me what they're like. These, the bottle reminds me a lot of the Kenzo bottles, the long red ones that have like flower in the name somewhere. And surprisingly, this fragrance does also remind me of all of those Kenzo, the tall bottles. This is definitely very floral, fruity, light, pretty, feminine. Really nice fragrance. Very inexpensive. I got this on FragranceNet. I don't remember the cost. I would say somewhere in the $20-ish range. And I thought the bottle was weird enough that I wanted to get it in my hands. So that is Passion Eau de Parfum by Armaf. Would I recommend this? Yes, I would. I think this is nice, inoffensive, fruity floral, pretty feminine. I like it. Moving along, this next one, I must admit that I purchased mostly because of the bottle. And I am going to butcher this name. And if you are so inclined, you are welcome to correct me in the comments. But here's the bottle. Let's take a minute to just enjoy what that looks like. There is a cat, a big cat on the front. Big cat, not little house cat. This is La Belle et l'Ocelot by Salvador Dali. Did I get that right? So it's an ocelot on the front. And I ended up looking for this because I searched Panthère, I think it's called, Panthère by Cartier, and was checking that out. And then somehow this ended up popping up and I liked it. And I was like, I think I want that instead because the bottle is so super cool. This is a floral, warm, spicy, ambery scent. And I will tell you that the first thing that came to mind when I sprayed this earlier was Coco Mademoiselle. It's giving me that opening, heavy, like a balmy citrus. Does that make any sense? A round, full, balmy citrus in the opening. The top notes are orange, surprisingly, not surprisingly, artemisia, middle notes of osmanthus, which is a beautiful note, jasmine, rose, and tonka bean. And base notes are benzoin, patchouli, and incense. It's classified as a chypre floral. This is not for the shy person. This is for someone who wants to own the room with their fragrance. It is a mature, sophisticated scent. It reminds me a lot of like the 90s powerhouse scents that were heavily floral with those citrus overtones in them, where, you know, if you weren't careful and you didn't know how to wear it, the fragrance would wear you. This is one of those. This is a powerhouse beast mode kind of a fragrance for the confident person who wants to take their space in the room and make sure people know that they are there. La Belle et La Belle. Try again. Take two. La Belle et l'Ocelot by Salvador Dali. Beautiful. I highly recommend this if you like potent, strong, powerful fragrances. Okay, a little bit animalic. There's no civet in here, but if I didn't know any better, I would think there was some in there. Beautiful fragrance. Glad to have that. This is a gem. Next is one that is not a gem. So I was chatting with my good friend at the Perfume Nest, Chris, about this fragrance. And she was like, oh my gosh, why did you get that? Did you mean to give it to someone that you really hated? And we had a good little laugh about it. Charlie Blue by Revlon. I know, don't ask me why I got this, but I'll tell you why. And it is because it came highly, you know, reviewed. People love this. People wear this. It's their signature scent. They've worn it for forever. It's so beautiful. It's so this, it's so that. Listen, when I sprayed this in the blue box, I regretted it instantly. Despite the fact that I got this for under 10 bucks. I think it was $8, something like that. I should have kept my $8 in my pocket. I am not a fan of this. If you are, God bless you. I hope you wear it well. This is not for me. This is rose, this is wood, and this is moss. It's also spicy and aromatic. It's considered a floral fragrance. And the notes are oak moss, all kinds of oak moss in this. And I'm talking about oak moss that isn't balanced out by anything else. I feel like it's, oh my gosh, I can't. This is all kinds of chemical craziness, it feels like, with that animal thing happening on top of it. So oak moss, geranium, sandalwood, musk, rose, and jasmine. But there must be something else in here. Those are the notes on Fragrantica. I'm convinced there's some synthetic like civet note in here that is overpowering and not in a good way. I'm just going to stop because I don't want to offend anyone who likes this. So that's Charlie Blue. This is a no for me. And I have a big bottle of it. I think I'm going to spray it around the house to mark my territory and keep the wild animals out. We do have coyote in the area. And wolves. This might keep them away. Moving along is one that I have wanted to get into my collection for a while. YouTubers have raved about this, and the bottle's pretty. I love the designer behind it, and I have some of her other fragrances. I am talking about Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash. Stash SJP, Sarah Jessica Parker from Sex and the City, one of my very fragrant, one of my very favorite TV shows of all time. I watched every single episode. My older sister bought me the CD boxed collection of the series. And I watched and watched and watched. Carrie brings me back such great memories of watching that show and her life, right? Her dating life. But anyway, Sarah Jessica Parker, the actress, has a beautiful line of perfumes, the most famous of which is Lovely, which is just a musky fragrance that I have. I love it. It's really nice. It took me a while to get into that. I didn't like it when I first bought it, but I do now. I also have a New York City Crush from Sarah Jessica Parker, which is a really light, playful coconut scent that is really delightful. This SJP, this is something else. So first of all, the bottle is nice. I don't know what I think about like this princess sash across the front. It's almost like a piece of fabric tape across the front, but the actual bottle itself is fairly substantial. I love the story behind this. First of all, it's a spicy, aromatic, woody fragrance. It's considered classified as a woody aromatic. And what I love about this as the inspiration, well, she called it a naughty, subversive sibling of her most popular fragrance, Lovely. I thought that was an interesting description. It's like if Lovely decided to sneak out of the house at 2 a.m. in the morning and go to a wild party, this might be what she smelled like on her way back home. I don't know. Is that a proper description? I just made that up. Can we roll with it? I think we can roll with it. But as far as her inspiration for this, I find it fascinating. She noted, she being Sarah, Sarah and I were like on a first name basis. She noted body odors. Who would think that somebody would want to put body odors in a scent? Church, what the churches smelled like, leather, and a few masculine perfumes that she wore that included the notes of incense and vetiver. So this at the top has black pepper, sage, and grapefruit. Middle is cedar, patchouli, pistachio, and white ginger lily. Base notes of wood, olibanum, did I say that right? Vetiver and musk. This smells to me like my husband's skin, with how it smells after cologne has died down. He's been outside and he has that like outside scent that you bring in on your skin. And there's something like familiar and cozy and comforting about that, with a little bit of like manly cologne over that, like a woody cologne on top of that. But there's also something a little bit sweet in here, and I don't know what's giving it that. I'm looking at the note structure. I have no idea. Perhaps it's the pistachio or something. I'm not sure, but this is masterpiece status. It is beautiful. I tried it on my skin and it developed so beautifully into something really beautiful, like a skin scent, but I don't mean in that it's close to the skin. I mean that it smells like skin with something lovely over it. It's so hard to describe. Such a unique fragrance. I love it. This is not for everyone. And a good thing, because you can't buy this anymore. It's discontinued. And so if you're interested in this, you would have to go to secondhand sites like eBay or Mercari. I was lucky to find one on Mercari in the box with the wrapping on it still. Beautiful fragrance. Lucky to have it. And this not one, like if you want to go hunt it down, you need to appreciate scents that lean a little bit masculine, and are like scent, like body scent musky, if that makes sense. Really unique fragrance, but not for everyone. If you want to smell pretty and feminine, this might not be the right choice for you. So let us go on. The next one is one that surprised me. So you know that I like to hunt around on FragranceNet for inexpensive fragrances just to see what comes up. Sometimes there are suggestions, and also on Fragrantica, when you go down the page, sort of in the middle, it'll say, this fragrance reminds me of, and it'll have examples of other fragrances to give you a sense of what that fragrance that you're reviewing or wanting reviews on smells like. So I think I found this as a suggestion on FragranceNet, and for the price, thought I'll stick that in my cart. I want to say it was well under 30 bucks. I don't remember exactly what it cost, but it is One Kiss by Franck Olivier. One Kiss by Franck Olivier. It comes in a bottle that has the like a heart 3D relief on the back, if you can see that. And then the name on the front. You guys, this is lovely. Lovely, inexpensive purchase. I would highly recommend this. This has notes of bergamot, orange, cardamom at the top. So it's a citrusy but slightly like spicy scent at the top. Middle notes are rose and cyclamen. And the base is vanilla, sandalwood, and cedar. beautiful surprise fragrance. I thought that this would smell cheap. Now remember, I have the Oud Vanille that I bought from Franck Olivier as well, and that was knock it out of the ballpark hit for me. This one is a surprise also from the same house, Franck Olivier. Highly recommended for the lady that wants to smell pretty and sophisticated at a bargain price. I like it. Onward we go. This next one I have had before. In fact, I've gone through 2 bottles of this. My sister, my older sister, introduced me to this a while back, probably when it first came out. Let me check that. When did it first come out? 2007. Yeah, I probably got this for Christmas the year that it came out or the next year. And I've gone through several bottles. So this is the 3rd bottle, I believe, that I have purchased of this. And it is none other than Infusion de Iris by Prada. What a pretty, simple fragrance, elegant and lovely. Nothing terribly complicated. No one's gonna run to figure out what exotic fragrance you have on. But if they're sitting next to you, they're likely gonna comment that you smell pretty and pleasant. All right, so this reminds me of Laura Ashley dresses. If you grew up in the 80s and then, you know, went to high school in the 90s or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Floral, Laura Ashley preppy dresses is what this reminds me of. It comes in a bottle that looks like that with a green cap and like a plate on the front. This is amber, this is woody, this is iris, this is powdery. It is a floral woody musk. It has top notes of African orange flower, neroli, orange, mandarin orange. So you do get a lot of citrusy a scent at the top. The middle then is iris, galbanum, and mastic. And the base is incense, cedar, benzoin, and vetiver. So that initial blast of citrus does calm down into this pleasant iris scent in the middle, which is what this is named after. I just bought the 1.7, the 50 mil, 1.7 ounce to try it out again because it's been a while since I've owned this. I went through 2 bottles. I think the last one was in 2012-ish that I ran out of the 2nd bottle and I haven't repurchased it, but I was interested in trying it again. I have to say that I was inspired to buy this. I think it was Frances at Happiness Sparkles that had this in her collection, and it reminded me of it. And I thought, oh, I'd love to get that back in my collection. So thank you, Frances, for reminding me of this very pleasant, simple, but beautiful little fragrance. Really nice. Good church scent, good like Sunday brunch with the elders kind of scent. Anywhere where you want to smell pretty, but not offensive, this is an excellent choice. Excellent choice. Okay. Next is one that I've seen this before, but I got especially interested in when Tara from Olfactophiles featured it on her channel. And I thought, gosh, I have put that in my cart and out of my cart several times. She has really, really excellent taste in fragrance. I will link all these channels below that I mentioned, and I'd love for you to go check them out, give them a subscription, thumbs up on their videos, and show them some love. But anyway, she talked about this in one of her recent videos, and this is Valentina Mur Assoluto. Assoluto by Valentino. There are a number from the house that have this kind of design. None that are gray like this. They're all different colors, but it has the little floral motif. I do also have Valentina Poudre, which is another beautiful one from the house. I got turned on to this from the Simple Chic Life, I believe is her name. Alethea, I think that's what she goes by. Anyway, but this was Tara from Olfactophiles. I'm looking at you. What a gorgeous fragrance. Absolutely stunning, very sexy, very mature, means business. This is not for the shy girl or guy. This is not for the person that doesn't want to get noticed and just wants to be a wallflower. This is for someone who feels confident, who feels sexy, who lives in their sensuality and is not afraid of that. Beautiful. This is an oriental fragrance. It's classified as for women, but I think any of these fragrances can be any fragrance, man, woman, whoever can wear, right? I think this is rather unisex. I'll point out if other fragrances are unisex or not, male, female, whatever, going forward. Sorry, I haven't done that so far. Let's see here. This is designed based on principles of luxury, opulence, refinement, and elegance. It's called an ode to myrrh, the scent of myrrh. So this has myrrh, vanilla, leather. I love leather in fragrances. Ylang-ylang, another very favorite note. Musk and jasmine. Very elegant, very mysterious. Love the myrrh in this. Very pretty. I like this a lot. Like this a lot. All right, moving along. Yesterday, I think it was it yesterday? It feels like 10 years ago. I wore McQueen Eau de Parfum. This is a tuberose fragrance for the most part. A very elegant, woody tuberose, refined, soft around the edges. Just really nice. This one has a good pedigree, right? This is from the royal family kind of thing. That kid that went to prep schools, that kid that knows which fork to use at the dinner table, which glassware to use for what kind of beverage. That's McQueen Eau de Parfum. But that's not what I'm going to talk about, y'all. I'm going to talk about the shy sister of McQueen Eau de Parfum, which is McQueen Eau Blanche. Ah, what an absolutely lovely, soft, feminine, pretty, light, just gorgeous fragrance. So the story behind this is that my husband and I were walking through the airport. We had 2 hours in between flights, and we stopped off at the fragrance, whatever you call that thing, the shop, right? The duty-free shop. And I saw this, and the bottle is so cute. It has this studded top, just like its louder sister. And this beautiful, rounded, gorgeous, heavy, substantial bottle. So I sniffed this, put it on my hand, and kept walking through the airport. And we both fell in love with it. My husband kept sniffing it, I kept sniffing it, and I kept saying, I want a bottle of that eventually. At the time, I think it was some outrageous price. I don't remember, but it was expensive. And so this has calmed down in price since then. And I think I got this for 50 or 60 bucks on FragranceNet. Absolutely delightful. Top note of violet leaf. Middle is tuberose, jasmine, sambac, and ylang-ylang. And base notes of woody notes and white musk. It's considered a floral, woody musk, and it is just beautiful. I think this would work well for women and ladies of all ages. I also think this would work well for gentlemen that don't mind a fragrance that's leaning feminine. I think a man could pull this off very nicely. I see Tim Gunn wearing this from Project Runway and looking very regal in it, or smelling very regal in McQueen Eau Blanche. Lovely, lovely, highly recommended. All right, next. I'm looking back at you, Miss Charlotte Ross, for this next one. I was watching one of her videos, and I forget what the title of it was, but she was featuring, I think it was something about fragrances. I know it was her video where she talks about fragrances related to different kinds of loves and romance. Great video from back in February. She did an awesome job. Go check that out. But if I remember, I'll link the exact video because it was a really fun one. She talked about a fragrance called Wild. Did I just spit? I don't know. Keep going. Fragrance called Wild Python. and about it being a very sexy tuberose. And as she was talking about it, I was drooling over the bottle and thinking, I gotta have that because I am a freak for some tuberose. I think y'all know that. It's one of my very favorite notes in fragrances. I like them soft and I like them all the way to like loud, taking over the room, pushing everybody else out of the way. Everything in between, okay? But this one is Mancera and it's called Wild Python. So take a look at this bottle first of all. Has this animal print on it and it's see-through, but it catches the light so cool. I just love that. Now, you know, the Manceras come in these drawstring pouches. I don't love these. I think these are a little tacky, but whatever. Maybe they're good for travel. I'll certainly hold on to them. But I don't know about that. Anyway, these two are not in the same family. This is the Bridgertons and this is the Bundys. This is Peggy from the Bundys. Peggy Bundy, isn't that her name? The mom in the show. But damn, that Peggy is sexy. So, this is a screechy tuberose, but in the most fun way. A fruity, loud, scratchy tuberose, but I like it so much. It's really quite beautiful. Now, I haven't tested any of these on my skin, to be fair. Maybe this calms down later. It's considered a Chypre floral. Top notes: tuberose, osmanthus, peach. Love the combination of that juicy peach with the tuberose and bergamot. So you get that citrus, peachy tuberose thing going on. It's fresh, it's fun, it's loud, it's in your face, and I'm here for it. The middle notes are jasmine, orange blossom, and patchouli leaf. And in the base, you get white musk and vanilla pod. Beautiful. I can see this being an all-weather fragrance. I know this is going to wear well on me. I don't have any doubt. Absolutely gorgeous. And all the Manceras that I have performed. I say all. I only have two. I have two. I have Holidays. And why can't I think of the other one? Now I gotta go check. Hang on. It's Instant Crush that I have. How could I forget? Instant Crush is such a beautiful Mancera. And now I have Wild Python to add to that. I'm so excited. This is gorgeous. Thank you, Charlotte Ross. I have tried Coco Vanille from this line, and I like that too. Maybe one day. And I have some other samples from here that I like. Haven't tried any duds. Actually, that's not true. It was Roses Vanille, I think, from Mancera that I just wasn't so crazy about. It was way too deep and jammy, but otherwise I've had good experiences with these. Two more fragrances, so hang in there, and I've got two good ones to round out the bunch here. First is a fragrance that I learned about from, I think his name is Mr. Miami Cuddles or something like that. I don't know. He calls himself the Mayor of Miami. He has a channel here on YouTube. I will link him as well. He does fragrance reviews and other kinds of commentary and does a lot of lives too. But I saw a really cute, funny video of him talking about Jones Beach from Bond Number 9. You guys, first of all, if you're not familiar with Bond Number 9, it's a niche house and they have like the longest line of fragrances. All of them are named after a neighborhood in New York City, some area of New York City, and the scent is supposed to evoke what it's like to be in that area. My first from this house was Chinatown. Absolutely stunning, beautiful. To me, I think it's classified as like a floral, but to me, it's an oriental, spicy fragrance. Beautiful. Go check that one out. And so this is my second full bottle from the house. I've sampled a bunch, but Jones Beach, I was in the mood for a beachy fragrance, and I looked that up, I think, on YouTube, and that's how I came across Mr. Miami Cuddles or whatever he calls himself. And he was talking about how wonderful this scent is and how much it reminded him of the beach. So this is Jones Beach in New York, famous for having big waves. And I remember going as a child with my family and my sisters and my dad and like jumping the waves in Jones Beach. It's a citrus aromatic fragrance. It has a top note of cologne, C-A-L-O-N-E, cologne. Never heard of that before. And I wonder if that's what's giving it the sea kind of vibe that you get out of this. A middle note of orange blossom, and in the base it has ambroxan, white musk, and violet. This reminds me of something that I can't put my finger on, and it's driving me crazy. A really beautiful fragrance that I had somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 or 15 years ago that I wore and wore and wore. And I have been racking my brain to figure it out. If anybody has this and you have any idea what it's like, the "this reminds me of" line on fragrance on Fragrantica did not help, but it's driving me crazy. So this doesn't smell like salty beach air. It has like a sweet, like a sweet, I don't know how to describe it. A little bit coconut suntanny kind of thing going on. Fresh citrus, very ozonic, up in the air around you kind of thing. I love this. In a pretty bottle. I really like the Jones New York bottles. And my final fragrance, I told y'all this was going to be long. I don't know how to shut up. Is one that I have wanted to get my hands on. I heard Paulina Shar here on YouTube rave and rave and rave about this to the point where I was like, all right, fine, I'm going to go hunt this thing down. By the way, I also wanted to say that this Mancera, I haven't found it available, the Wild Python, anywhere in the States. I had to buy it on a Canadian website. I think it was like Fragrance Buy or something like that, and get it shipped to me here in the States. But my last fragrance is Alien Oud Majestueux. Majestueux. And the reason I have it in the box is because the box is part of the experience. Let's unveil this baby. Comes in this, what looks like some sort of royal box, right? And then it opens like that. Shut up. Isn't that cool? And it has like a mirrored interior there. So this is like sitting up on a throne, or maybe that's supposed to be like an alien ship, but it looks like some sort of Egyptian motif or something. Can we talk about this fragrance? So this is the Oud, Alien Oud Majestueux. And when you hear people talk about a barnyard oud, here you go. When I first sprayed this, I thought I had made a huge mistake. I was like, oh, no. Eeh. It gives you a straight up barnyard fecal kind of oud, but just on the opening. And then that quickly goes away, okay? But when you first smell it, you're like, oh, I have made a mistake and I'm gonna pay for it all day. Because y'all know the aliens last all day long. Thierry Mugler was not playing around with his formulations. This calms down very quickly into, me, one of the most beautiful alien scents. And Alien, the original, is in my top 10. This bad boy right here is like Alien times 10, more grapey even, deeper, with some oud on top of that. Absolutely stunning fragrance. Love the bottle. The notes in here, top notes are cardamom and saffron, which I love. So maybe it's one of those that's smelling stinky, but I get that stinky oud at the top. So I don't know what's going on there, but middle notes are jasmine and cashmeran, and the base notes are oud or agarwood and amber. Highly recommend this if you're into the alien fragrances. You can't go wrong with this. It is potent, powerful, and means business. That's part 3. I hope you enjoyed this series. I hope you enjoyed this series. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe. Love you guys. Have a great night. See you in the next video. Take care.